Welcome to Off the Map Live. I'm your host, Ben Licata. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by the TattooNOW Professional Artist Dream Sweepstakes, who is in part sponsored by Artisan, Waterloo, Kingpin, Neotat, Eternal, Paradise Artist Retreat, TattooNOW, and this show right here. We are giving away over $30,000 in prizes to professional artists, and all they need to do is enter at tattoonow.com/sweepstakes. Doesn't cost anything, and we're giving a ton of stuff away. As a matter of fact, we'll be drawing a name tonight. We'll be doing this at the end of each month up until July. The show is also sponsored by Waterloo. Waterloo has been recently putting out tattoo artist workstations. They're amazing. They've got all kinds of bells and whistles. Check them out. Waterloo Artist Series workstations. And last but not least, Artisan Tattoo Cleanser and Aftercare. These are our sponsors for this show. They'll be sponsoring us all season. Make sure you look out for them online and take a look and see what they're all about. On this show, we are going to be talking with Aaron Della Vedova from Guru Tattoo in San Diego. He'll be tuning in via Skype. And we spoke with Paul Vander-Johnson from Triplesix Studios a little earlier. So we'll run that interview for you. If you like what you see, go to our YouTube page, check it out, subscribe, send us emails, tattoonow@tattoonow.com. All of our old videos are there. We're going to post all of our new videos there too. So we'll be right back with Paul Vander-Johnson after this ad.
Hi, my name is Gary Shepard. I'm one of the owners here at Addictive Nature Tattoo Studio. I met with one of the reps at the Pacific Ink and Art Expo out in Hawaii. That's when I actually got hooked up with a lot more of the product. I started using it, being able to actually notice more what it does during the tattoo procedure. We all have noticed the same thing, that the redness and the swelling goes out of the tattoo, that while you're doing color or white, the highlights and the colors actually are a lot brighter after the tattoo procedure. And basically we've all said the same thing, that it's a real good product to use during the tattoo procedure and after.
No web traffic? Still not booking appointments? Is your web designer missing in action? Well, now there's hope. TattooNOW.com. We work on all levels, from artists just starting out to professional tattooers of exceptional influence.
My name's Gabe Ripley. I founded TattooNOW.com well over 10 years ago at this point. Ultimately, at the core of what we do is power websites and mobile apps. What we do is allow the artists to do the easy part, which is upload their portfolio, update their news or their blog, and then we use our special programming to distribute that content on multiple websites throughout the internet and mobile app universe.
TattooNOW creates high-traffic websites specifically for the tattoo industry. My name is Brian Kopthite. I've been working for TattooNOW since 2009. I am the primary salesperson and marketer for TattooNOW. TattooNOW-powered websites create new clientele and new revenue for artists that are new, established artists, or established studios. We'll help to get you booked up for a month doing just the tattoos that you want to do.
And that's where your friend can't build one as good as us. That's all we do is build websites for tattooers every day. But what we have at TattooNOW really can't be matched by any other company.
Updating a TattooNOW website is very simple. If you can do social media, you can update to TattooNOW. Do that 24/7. You can go home at the end of the night, and you have done a great tattoo, and you're excited about it, you update that tattoo, it goes instantly to your website, it goes to your profile page, it goes to the iPhone app. It's what TattooNOW is all about.
You know, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And if you look at the statistics and the amount of traffic that we're able to provide and the amount of clients that we're able to attract, no one can touch us.
So we're here with Paul Vander-Johnson from Triplesix. Hey Paul, how are you?
Sweet man, good. How's you?
I'm great. How's everything over in the UK?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So you're working at Triplesix with Bez?
Yeah, I started in January.
Yeah. You like it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Where'd you work before that?
I worked at Northside Tattoos in Newcastle.
Is it a change? Different scenario?
Yeah, it's completely different, but both amazing studios, but just so completely different.
So, what do you like about being at Triplesix?
I'm just getting to work with other really good artists, really. It's
I saw that you recently just won Best in Show, the Manchester Tea Party.
Yeah, I won Best of Day on the Sunday. The Best of Show was a shared award with Leah Moole.
She's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah.
So how was that experience for you?
It was a bit weird. I've loved like Leah's stuff since like I was apprenticing. So yeah, winning an award with her was pretty mind blowing. Like.
So you did a butterfly face kind of mashup tattoo, right?
Yeah.
Was that your idea? Was it a combination of yours and your clients?
It was my idea. It was something which was originally for another person, but they decided they didn't want it last minute, so I put it out on the booth and managed to get someone in at the end of the Saturday and then tattooed it on Sunday.
You do a lot of really bright, vibrant colors. What led you in that direction?
I don't know really. It's just something that I've looked. I've always liked bright, vibrant colors. I used to do a load of black and grey, but the more and more I progressed, I just seemed to head in that direction.
Do you still do black and grey tattoos?
Not as often. I still do a few, but yeah, not as often.
So, I also noticed you got a bunch of conventions coming up. Is traveling part of your daily? I mean, your normal thing? Do you travel a lot? Do you do a lot of conventions?
I do a few conventions. Like it's always just been UK ones so far, but yeah, I've got quite a few. I've done a few guest spots abroad. I go to Norway a couple of times, but most of the time just UK. I haven't done many other guest spots though.
Do you feel doing conventions is an important part of developing as a tattooer?
I think it's the best way that you can see a lot of other artists at one point, but a lot of the time, if you tattoo and obviously you don't see it, what everyone else is doing, kind of thing.
Right. Usually busy?
At conventions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your head down and just keep tattooing.
Yeah.
So what have you got coming up for conventions?
Conventions wise, I've got Northeast Tattoo Expo, Liverpool. I wanted to do Jam again, but I haven't put it down. Cardiff, yeah.
So when did you start tattooing?
It was about 6 years ago, 2008, I think. Yeah.
What led you to tattooing? Were you an art kid before that?
Yeah, I've loved art all the time, but I haven't really I didn't seek it out as a career or anything like that. It was just complete accident. I just met a tattooist and he offered us an apprenticeship, and at the time I was washing dishes, so I was like, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, right. Did you have a pretty typical apprenticeship? What was it like?
It was like working the desk a lot, really, and making coffees, but he showed me how to set up. And I got to watch him do it, but then just attempt on myself and friends on a night when the studio's closed, kind of thing. So it was a lot of bad tattoos on really good friends, really.
Yeah? They still have them, or have you done them favors and covered them up?
Some of them I've redone. Some of them I'm still redoing, and I'm just haunted by them, I think, for the rest of my life.
Do you think an apprenticeship is an important part of becoming a professional tattooer? You know, a lot of kids come right out of art school and pick up a machine and they're just running. Do you think an apprenticeship is an important part of that?
It really depends on the person. I know I struggled for quite a few years, and the apprenticeship did help. But I've seen other artists pick up a machine and, you know, they were years advanced, like straight away kind of thing. They just kind of jumped in and they just seemed to have the confidence to do it straight away. But yeah, it just really depends on the person, I think.
So, what are your favorite kinds of things to tattoo? What are you looking to tattoo?
Anything weird.
What do you mean weird? Like what?
I don't like repeating things a lot. I do love horror things. I keep looking at the Chet Zar thing that you got up there as well. So
yeah, back here.
Yeah. Yeah, like horror style. But I also love really cartoon kind of stuff. So I know it's like completely different, but I'd love to try and mix those kind of styles. You know?
Sure. So are you a collector as well as a tattooer?
Yeah, I don't have as many as I want, but
You got plans?
yeah, I've got a small collection, slowly building up.
Yeah? What are some of your favorites?
I've got a piece of Davy Blows.
Yeah.
My arm. Yeah, I love his stuff. I just recently got tattooed off Mark Bester the other day. Got like a Mars Attacks piece on my leg.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was mint. Although that was agony.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably like the worst customer.
So, Triplesix, are you booking stuff in advance? Are you doing walk-ins? Is it a combination?
It's advanced mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, booking ins, but I did a walk-in the other day, but I think it's the first time in a while because I did a cancellation.
Do you prefer that way, to be booked out as opposed to just getting anything random off the street?
Yeah, I think it's kind of what I've always done, so I'm used to it that way. I think like the walk-ins stress me out a lot more. I like pre-planning and to figure things out. Yeah.
So when you're prepping for, do you draw? Are you like one of those guys that draws, a week in advance, or are you doing it the day of?
I normally I try to keep at least like 1 day a week for designs. I probably don't like finish everything on that day, but it's a good time to like get everything sketched up and get ideas down and then finish it on the morning normally. But at least I've got like a day to like get the ideas sorted, because that's what the bit that I find the hardest normally.
So we get a lot of probably newer tattooers watching the show. Do you have any advice for someone that might, try to want to advance their career a little bit? Things that you might have done that have helped you?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know. I would just say practice, dude. Yeah. The more you work, the better you'll get, really.
Right. So do you do anything outside of tattooing? Do you do other artwork and things?
I'm just getting into digital painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I've been like reading about and for ages, but I've only just started. I think I'm like I'm on my second one, but I still haven't finished the first one yet. But I'm really liking that medium. Yeah. I
noticed a couple of images that you've done with like digital composites.
On the Design Through Chaos. Yeah, that's of the models are from Bez's Design Through Chaos DVD.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah, and before I used that, I just used like a flat template, but it's pretty much just like a 3D model which you can put into Photoshop and place designs on and rotate, so you can see it from every angle, kind of thing.
Really?
Or you can paint onto the actual model as well, so you can design it onto skin. It's a really good tool. I think it's like, yeah, everyone who's got it has been loving it. Like, I think there's a new version coming out soon, which is going to have more models on, because at the moment there's only the arm and the torso and the back kind of thing. But yeah, there's going to be legs, feet. One of the other tattooists told us about there was the Guy Etchison and Koge.
Yeah.
Tattooing at the same time, but I didn't realize that kind of stuff was online, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to check it out. Like,
yeah, it's up there right now. We just put it up last week too, so you can check it out. You want to come back and talk to us sometime again? Booking in the future?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool, man.
Sweet.
All right, well, hey, Paul, thanks for talking with us, and I hope that you're successful in your tattoo endeavors.
Cheers, man.
Take it easy.
See you later.
Cool. So that was a little bit of Paul Vander-Johnson. Our next episode is going to be coming to you live from Hell City in Columbus. We're doing 2 shows, Friday and Saturday night of the Hell City convention. First show, we're going to have a full hour dedicated to just talking with Guy Etchison. We're going to start right at the beginning with Guy, where he started when he was a newbie, all the way through his progression to being one of the old guard in tattooing. The next night is going to be a surprise guest that I don't even know about yet. We're going to grab one of the artists from the convention, and we'll have a nice in-depth interview with them. Last year, Columbus, at Hell City, we met Donnie from Waterloo. Donnie has been a friend of the show ever since. His products are amazing, and you've probably seen them. They're really getting out there in the market. So here's a little word from Waterloo, and then we're going to check out a video, user-submitted video from our man Joe King, as a matter of fact. And after that, we will talk live via Skype with Aaron Della Vedova. Don't go anywhere. This promises to be a great interview. See you soon. So that was a little video from Joe King. Joe submits videos to us just about every show now, and if you want to see more of them, check out theartofjoeking.com. He's always posting those things. And if you have videos, you can send them to us, and we'll get those on the show. And maybe we can do a sweet little painting of you. So we're going to bring up Aaron Della Vedova. Good evening.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, man. How are you?
I'm good. How's everything over there? Is it all working out?
Everything's working. You're on the show. Welcome to Off the Map Live.
Wish I could see you. Oh, wait. I think you're coming now.
I should be. How about now? Can you see me now?
No, but I can hear you, which is enough for now.
So how's everything?
Good. I had a day off with the family, and one of those beautiful days in Southern California with the sun shining. It's hard to complain around here sometimes.
Man, I don't have that. I got like 20 degrees, and it snowed on yesterday.
I know. I don't want to say that too loud with everybody listening, not like rubbing it in, but it's the truth.
So for folks out there who might not know, we're talking with Aaron Della Vedova. He is owner of Guru Tattoo in San Diego, known for bold and brightly colored tattoos and some amazing paintings as well.
Thank you.
So you started out in Vegas, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, born in Iowa. Dad moved me and the family out to Vegas when we were pretty young. Graduated in a little town outside of Las Vegas, Boulder City, Nevada. Some people might know of it. Got out of high school, joined the Coast Guard, traveled around in the military, the Coast Guard. When I got out, was going to go to art school. I thought tattooing, I don't know, I had a couple tattoos. I don't know, I thought tattooing in art school was crazy too. But he knew how to tattoo, and he had been taught by somebody that knew how to tattoo. And, the education really started there. Now, that thing all blew up after about a year. Similar reasons, a lot of drama, for lack of a long story. But, and that was like, at this point, I'm 2 years into the game. I'm loving tattooing, but it's the amount of times my life has been put on the line and the amount of wild, crazy things that have been happening. I'm starting to question it. Like, am I really meant for this business? But my love just kind of shined through, and I sent out all these resumes. And I was just trying to find a shop that, was, into the art for the art's sake. Anyways, through that process, I ended up getting a job in San Diego at Avalon Tattoo, and worked with a lot of great guys. Juan Puente was one of the more influential people for me at the time. He really brought me under his wing and taught me quite a bit. And that's really where my roots grew, And then, of course, I was already in San Diego, and I've been here ever since because just love the town and love the area.
So a lot of what you're talking about sounds like the old school of tattooing. When did you start tattooing?
I'm coming up on 20 years now. Yeah. And, that's not really old. Obviously, people have been in this game way longer than me, but it was old enough that when I got in, all those shenanigans that you hear about were alive and well, and joining a tattoo shop and becoming an apprentice was sort of like joining a gang. It was expected that you were down for the guy that was apprenticing you, and if he needed you to help him with something, regardless of what it was, you were expected to stand up and do it. And I didn't even realize any of that. I was so naive to it all. I grew up in a middle class family, and I just got out of 5 years in the military, and you're very naive. And it took me a good year to wake up to the reality of the game I was involved in and go, wait a minute. This is, I've got to be more aware of my surroundings. I've got to be more thoughtful and more careful about the type of people I'm associating with, and pick where I'm going to work and the type of people I'm going to work with. And, I got kicked around a little bit, but, I don't regret. At this point, it's just great, fun stories. At the time, it was pretty shocking and traumatic, but
I can imagine.
Today, I wouldn't change a thing. I really appreciate that. Getting a taste of that era of tattooing. I mean, I don't even see it anymore today. I mean, with the people I hang out with, and the tattooers that I know, it's almost like a dream or something. Everyone's so professional now and so with it, and the art is the most predominant part of everyone's shop, and everyone's moving forward artistically. It's what I always actually wanted to be a part of, and suddenly it's here, and I'm very grateful of that, because this is what I wanted to be a part of, and it's happening all around me now. So, but I still wouldn't take it back. It was part of the ride, and it's kind of funny now. I appreciate it.
Did you carry over any of that old school mentality into your shop?
No, no, not at all. I was so, pretty much upset by it that I made it a mission statement in my life. I was like, wow, I'm going to be involved in an industry in some kind of a way where I don't promote any of this. And almost probably maybe sometimes I should a little. I'm very easygoing. I've taught a few people along the way, and I'm just, I look to promote, to love, to be patient, to show compassion, and that old school stuff doesn't happen, for me. It's about all types of other things aside from that now. But
do you think there's any place for that old school kind of apprenticeship anymore? Do you think it helped you become who you are, or do you think it got in the way?
I think it, for me, in the time and the place, it helped me. I mean, I had to go through some other trials and tribulations once I went out on my own career. And if I hadn't gotten kind of shook up a little bit in the early part of my career, I don't know if I would have been ready for that. I think it wouldn't have worked out for me. But so for me, it was necessary. Do I think it's necessary today? I can't speak for the world. You know, there might be places where it is. The little bubble I exist in, I don't really see a need for it anymore. I mean, to me, it's more like any other trade or craft or career where, you know, it doesn't need to be that complicated. Like, it's simple. You either get in there and you're good at what you do and you dedicate yourself and you work hard, or you don't. And, you know, there's no need for intimidation and guilt and, you know, requiring things of people that's would be considered a little unreasonable. I don't think there's a need for it where I'm at. But again, I hate to put blanket statements out there. I'm not aware of what's happening in other areas of the world fully, and maybe there's a need for it, but we don't have a need for it. Not where I'm working, and so we do what we do.
Right on. Hey, so we spoke earlier, and you said you had recently taken a couple months off tattooing to work on some painting and things.
Yeah, you know, I love to paint, and I don't really, like, you hear a lot from busy tattooers, you know, I never have time to paint. It's the same for me. I'm booked with tattoos, and I'm busy trying to keep up with my schedule and all that. But occasionally I get these commission jobs, and this year I got 2 really large ones just out of the blue. Clients that pretty well-to-do people that don't mind throwing a good chunk of money on a painting. And next thing I knew, I was, you know, commissioned to do these 2 pieces that required. I took 2.5 months off, and at first it was kind of like, and I've done this before, but last time I did it, I took a month off. I don't know, I had this idea that it would be the greatest thing ever, and it was, but I was pretty surprised at how much I missed, you know, being at the shop and tattooing. And it was kind of a wake-up call, you know, the idea being, gosh, wouldn't it be great if all I had to do was sit in a studio and paint all day? That's the dream. And, you know, after 2.5 months, I realized that's not really what I want. I mean, it's lonely, you know, and there I am, you know, 8-10 hours a day, me and my music and, you know, my book tapes. And, you know, week 1 it's great, week 2 it's great, by week 3 it's kind of fidgety, week 4 it's like, man, is there anyone around here to talk to, you know? And you know, I got back in the shop a few weeks ago, and I was like, it was like a breath of fresh air. People and artists that I not only are friends of mine, but I am inspired by, and suddenly it was a breath of fresh air. And I'm still going to paint, but I'm not ready to just drift off into some studio somewhere and paint all day. So maybe when I'm older, but right now
you can save that for when you're, you know, an old man with hands who can't hold a machine anymore, you know.
That's sort of how I'm starting to view it.
Get a weird hat and just go hang out in your painting studio.
Smoke a weird pipe and, you know, yell at kids outside the window. And...
Exactly. I think you should totally, you know, put that whole thing together so that by the time you turn into an old man, you'll have it all figured out. And just...
I'm mapping it out right now. I got the whole persona worked out. You know, it's going to be ready. I'll be ready.
So, do you think working in outside mediums other than tattooing helps you be a better tattooer? Do you think it's necessary?
The big answer to that for me, yes. But, you know, it's funny because, you know, that leads me back to more of my career. You know, unfortunately, when I got in the industry, it was 20 years ago, and for whatever reason, I was involved with a group of people that didn't instill, you know, traditional technique. It was kind of more of a, hey kid, do you have a little niche you can carve out for yourself? And are people going to come and get work by you? We're cool with it. We don't really care if the tattooing you're doing is irresponsible, if it isn't going to last, you know, all that. So, you know, there's a lot of early years that I look back on like, wow, a lot of what I would call irresponsible tattooing. Like, if I was teaching a young man today, I would stop them immediately if they were doing any of that stuff. I'd be like, no, you can't do that. This is why. Nobody stopped me back then, or any of the guys I was working with. It was more encouraged, like, you know, by a bunch of old timers that were like, I don't know, these wacky youngsters, look at this crazy shit they're doing. People like it, go for it. You're making money. Keep it up, kid. And painting and my freelance art fed into that at the time. So here I am, I'm like a surrealist, you know, I love surrealism, art in general. My oil paintings are surrealistic. That's real cool, but a lot of that stuff doesn't make great tattoos. So there is it's now it assists me because I think I bring it into my tattooing and I create a style that's unique for me. And I have been tattooing 20 years, so I believe I have somewhat of a grasp on how to tattoo responsibly, lines and shading and creating tattoos that are going to last and hold up. But you know, it could be considered a hindrance too for a lot of years. So it's a mixed bag. But for me, ultimately, yeah, I mean, I've got a look to my stuff that couldn't be what it is without the freelance art. You know, it had to be part of my story. And I'm happy for it, but you know, there's, I guess, maybe a little, I wouldn't call it regret, but definitely recognizing how it wasn't the most positive thing all the time. You know?
It seems like you've overcome it. It seems like you're doing some pretty positive things now.
Yeah, no, it's, you know, once I really got a, you know, hold of that, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and started really looking heavily at traditional tattooing and traditional Japanese tattooing and figuring out why those things work, I was able to, I think, fuse the two into what I do today, and I think that's great. But yeah, things are good now. But yeah, there's definitely the first 8 years. I don't know, man. I wish sort of that there was somebody nearby that would have had some more traditional aspects behind them, would have stopped me from a lot of that stuff and just shook me up and said, "Hey, kid, you can't do it like that, and this is why." But you know, things happen the way they happen, and heck, everything happens for a reason, right? So I'm not going to question it. Here we are.
I think it does. That's for sure. So let's get a little bit into your process. When you're doing a large back piece or a bodysuit, where does that begin for you?
Well, I you know, obviously it begins with the client and you know, really getting, you know, somewhat intimate with that person and trying to figure out what it is they're going to convey. I mean, from a more tactical standpoint, I would say to them, you know, what area of the body are we covering, and what's the general theme? Those two things I need right out of the gate. And half the clients don't want to go deeper than that. You know, they're just collectors. They're like, you know, I've got here to my knee. I want to do something about an angel. Fine, good enough. I don't even want to tell you any more than that. Go. So you know, you feel out the client. Is it a guy who's just collecting art, who digs my art, wants me to just do something that'll turn him on? That's great. I'm into it. But you know, other clients, you can tell they're trying to really communicate something that's a little deeper. And if I sense that's what's happening, I try to get more with that person and feel them out, and you know, get a feel for what they're doing, so that when I create the art, they're like, "Wow, that's it." You know, I take it very personally. I try to be, I guess, intimate's the word. I believe that tattooing is an intimate activity, and I tell this to the guys at the shop all the time. You know, I think it's overlooked too often that this is you know, a person is, you know, laying on a table. You're cutting into them permanently for, you know, this art you're putting into them, and nobody really shows any of it. Everyone's got their tough face on to some degree when they're at the shop, and everyone's, you know, putting on their persona. But I know behind all that is somebody who's, you know, has a bit of fear. They're wondering what's going to happen. They're wondering if they're being cared for. They're wondering if they're being thought after with respect and patience. And so knowing that, I really try to carry as much of that as I can to each project. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I never get a little rushed sometimes and get a little, you know, maybe moving ahead of myself. But generally speaking, that's what I'm trying to do. And then once I can really get their idea and I feel like I understand what they're going for, then it's just, for me, I draw. You know, I draw a lot of my stuff beforehand. Not very good spontaneous tattooer. I tend to lean on a lot of reference. I'll take photos of my wife. If I need female reference, I'll research things. I'll walk out with my camera and take pictures of flowers, and I'll gather things. I mean, I can definitely illustrate relatively well, just out of my head, right onto the paper. It depends on the subject matter. But I'm not afraid to use the tools around me, reference and photography, and really put all these things together to try to create the best tattoo possible. And I encourage that with my guys too. Like, look, man, people are looking for the end result. Just get there. Aside from plagiarism and just being an outright thief, you know, use your tools. If you need a camera, use it. If you want to, you know, get some books and find these old imageries and manipulate them in some way to make a cool image for the tattoo, that's fine. Just be respectful and responsible about it. So that's me. You know, I just got tattooed by Jeff, and it was so inspiring to be tattooed by him. He's so spontaneous. You know, he shows up. He only knows what I'm trying to do. Takes out a Sharpie. 2 hours later, it's sketched on my leg, and off he goes. And the piece is epic. It's beautiful. And I really appreciated that moment, because that's definitely something I want to try to be a little more loose and not so controlled. So I'm not saying my way is the best. That's just how I do it, and it works. But I'm open to that growth in that direction, and you know, working with Jeff. And I've been up to his shop and worked with him up there, and seeing how he does it. It was very inspiring to see all that. But
I got to be in Grants Pass about a month ago, and I watched him do an entire outline from a guy's ankles to his shoulders of his whole front in one day. It was amazing to see how fast he worked.
That is a beast. I mean, I feel like I can tattoo as fast as him. I just can't tattoo as long. You know, 6-7 hours in, my eyes are tired. You know, and that guy just, I don't know, 10-hour sittings, 12-hour sittings. Man, my hat comes off to him. I told him that when he was here. I'm like, I don't know where you get the energy, man. But you know, the guy's amazing, and I'm very lucky to have this beautiful tattoo we're doing together and work with him occasionally. Very inspiring.
You know, I think Jeff spent a lot of time getting physically fit over the last year or so, and I think that kind of helps his stamina with everything. You know, the balance in his life.
You know, you're right, and that's one thing I picked up a few years back was, wow, the only way to really get through this job every day is to eat good and exercise, because, you know, otherwise it's too arduous. You know, sitting in a chair cramped over another person, doing what we do. You know, when you're young, you can go out and drink the beer and go to the show, get up the next day and do it. But eventually the body, you know, I'm 42, and that went away about 8 years ago. Now I've got to go to bed at 8, get up, do my yoga, eat my kale smoothie, and you know, try to get my 7 hours of tattooing in if I'm lucky, you know, and with 4 cups of coffee.
Kale smoothie, man, I don't think I can do it. No way.
You know, mix it with enough banana and berry, you don't even taste the kale.
I see. All right, I'll try it. My wife's always trying to get me to eat more of that stuff.
Oh, it's all about the kale, man. Just any way you can get it.
I don't know. I think it's a conspiracy, man.
It probably is. I mean, but I'm a sucker for all the health stuff, right? The next thing, I'm already doing it before it's even out. You know.
Well, you're in California. See, out here in Massachusetts, we move a little slower. You know, it's glacial how fast we move with health trends.
Well, we can be your guinea pigs. I'll let you know about only the good shit.
All right, man. So, do you use any digital mediums at all when you're laying out tattoos? Or are you strictly, pens, paper, watercolor?
Pens, paper, watercolor. You know, and I want to in a way, because I'm starting to see a lot of advantageous things you can do with it, fusing images together, and you know, to me that's part of the artistic process. If you could take a picture and another picture, and you could overlap them and do some effects, because you know Photoshop so well, and create this other thing, and then you could print that, and then you could draw over the top of that and create some movement through it. I mean, if you could go through all that, I mean, that's a tool, another tool that I don't know how to do. But maybe I'm too old. I guess after 20 years, I don't know. Am I going to take on the digital part of that? Probably not. Well, I don't want to say no, but currently, no, I don't. But I got a couple of guys that I work with who are taking some photos.
Difficult to balance a busy tattoo life and a good family life?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's. I don't know. I want to say that's the game we're all maybe playing at some point. I mean, I guess some of us maybe don't take on the family, and I own the business. But for those of us that do, I don't know anybody I've ever met who doesn't end up facing that challenge. And yeah, you know, that's the challenge. That's the challenge the biggest challenge I face every day, which is, you know, how can I stay healthy? How can I maintain a healthy marriage? How can I be a good dad? How can I be a good, you know, owner of a shop who's really there for the guys who work with me? And, you know, how do I, with all that, maintain a career, my own personal career? And it is a challenge, but it's a challenge that I've learned to really appreciate. You know, a few years back, I think I was a little more pissed off about the challenge, because maybe every day I wasn't winning, and I would lose at something, and something would fail, and I'd get maybe in an argument with my wife because I worked too much, or maybe I wasn't there for my kids because I was here somewhere late, and there was moments. But over the years, I've gotten a little better at it, and after you start getting better at it, you realize, wow, what a cool thing. You know, in order to balance all those things, I basically had to become a better person. You know, I've had to change things about myself that probably wouldn't have changed unless circumstances made it necessary. And now I look at it more as like a fun challenge. You know, obviously the shop's been there 10 years. My career is doing well. I'm not fighting for every the monthly bills anymore. So in that regard, it's less stress, but it's still a challenge, and I just kind of embrace it more and look at it more. Again, the first few years, yeah, it was tough. A lot of people come through the shop, and it's like a weeding out process. Finding a that works together. Now, after 10 years, honestly, it's kind of easy. But I know guys that are starting off and see like my operation, and they're like, I paid my dues. I've been on my hands and knees bawling. I'm not kidding. Like, that stuff happened. And I mean, I'm definitely a guy, and I'm constantly doing that. As soon as things get too smooth, I take on something to make it a little more chaotic, but yeah, I need growth. I don't do well in sitting still and cruising. I'm jealous of my friends kind of sometimes that are able to do that, but it's just not my nature. I have to push and try to do more and see how much better I can get at my career, how much better the shop can be, So I definitely push, but I've learned to push a little less and be a little more okay day to day with what's happening. But things are good. I'm happy. I'm very happy right now. I can say that, especially from a professional standpoint, with the shop and the career. I'm very happy right now with it all of it.
So, for some of the the more recent tattooers that are coming up, that we get a lot of people that have less than 2 years under their belt watching our show. You got any piece of advice that you might be able to give to them?
Yeah, I get a lot of young tattooers coming through Guru, kind of hanging out, trying to check it out, and we're very cool about it. We're very open shop. There's no gate. We tell them all, like, hang out, walk around, check it out, and if I've got the time, they'll look at the booth. Can I come see what you're doing? I'm the first one to be like, come on in, hang out. You want to see what I'm doing? That's cool. So I enjoy that question, and yeah, I do. And I just had a couple guys in my shop recently, and it's been a while, but they were the ones who flat out were like, what, could you give us that little secret to your success kind of question? And I was just, it sounds a little cliche, but I honestly told him, I was like, you know what? I think it's really simple. Not try, but literally try your best to love your art, love your clients. Like, it's about love. It's about patience. It's about compassion. It's about all the things that make up what we look in society to and call maybe like a very enlightened human. I think the secret to success in this game is that I love this trade, because to me it's one of the few trades out there that will reward you for high moral ground. If you want to get up every day and be honest, hardworking, care explicitly about your client, do everything you can, just as if you were treating your own mother or brother. You do that long enough, you're going to be successful. Now, there's one caveat to that, which is you kind of going to need to be a little bit talented. I mean, the industry's tough now, tons of talent, right? So you could probably be all these things I'm saying, but then you may have no talent. Okay, then you're screwed. But if you got a little talent and you can put those other things with it, I feel like telling people you're 100% guaranteed to be successful. You're going to be fine. Just put your head down and do it. Don't worry about how many shops are opening up around you. Don't go on Instagram and worry about how many guys are doing better than you. Don't get stressed out about all that stuff. Just be authentic, be yourself, and then do those things. Be patient, compassionate, loving, hardworking, and you're going to be fine. And I've seen it. I've been in this 20 years. I've got all sorts of friends, and I've got ones that are struggling, and I got ones that are doing well. And all the ones that are doing well are pretty much doing what I said, and nobody's hurting for business. Everyone's thriving. It's a very rewarding career if you just do those simple things. And the reason I say I'm grateful is I look at other careers, and I have friends that are in the corporate world, for instance, and I feel like I don't know if it works out there. Out there it's like, who do you know, and what thing did you go to, and did you meet the right guy? Did you kiss the right ass? I don't know how you went out there, but it doesn't seem as cut and dry in that world. Whereas ours, man, it's great. You just do those good things and you win. So I think it's simple, but I think people can make it overly complicated. Just do that. It's not that hard.
That's some great advice, man. I hope people listen to you, because there's a lot of dickheads out there that don't care, so I think compassion is definitely a good bit of advice.
Yeah, and you know, another thing is, you know, the shop. It's weird to me because I'm a spiritual guy, but I say that lightly because I don't pray. I can't even say that there's a God. I just think there's something bigger than all this, and I meditate and I try to live a spiritual life. I read a lot of philosophy, and it's weird. My career and my business seems to be some kind of extension of my belief system, to where I get to actually put it into action. You know, it's almost like you read Buddhism and it says, you know, right action, you know, get up every day and do these things and you will have good karma and good things will come to you. And then I've been given this platform, this thing, tattooing, where I could test it. And it's been 20 years that I've been applying these philosophies, and here it's all coming back now, and it's almost like validation. And I don't know, it seems like my whole life, it's not just a job, it's not just a career, it's this whole human life I'm having, which tattooing is just part of it. And it seems to be a thermometer to where I'm at spiritually. Like, if I can stay in touch with those philosophies and live them as best I can every day, the career of tattooing, the job, whatever you want to call it, continues to thrive as a response to that, as if it's saying, good job, keep it up. And I haven't figured out what's going on there yet, but I get a sense something really magical is happening, and I'm grateful, just grateful to, I don't know how I ended up here. It's a series of hilarious comedic events, and I became a tattooer. And but looking back now, I think somebody's pulling some strings or something, man, because it's too good. It's too good to be true. So grateful is the best word I can come up with.
Man, it's great talking with you. Yeah, you're a very positive person.
I try. Not always. You should catch me after 8 or 9 hours of tattooing, but you know, I try.
So if someone is looking to get a tattoo from you, how would they go about that?
Oh, just email me. For a long time it was, the whole thing was, Aaron has a 2-year wait, Aaron has a 3-year wait. Jeff, again, I was up there last year tattooing with him, and I kind of got a vibe on how he's rolling, and his whole, like, I don't take new clients, and I'm not there because I kind of want to keep myself open to new clients and new people to bring into my my tattooing. But the reality is, honestly, I could probably only take 10 or 15 new clients a year, I'm guessing. And a lot of it's just because, like Jeff, he's saying, look, you get a client, he gets a sleeve, then he wants a back piece, then he wants his left side, then he wants, all you need is about 50 of those people and you're booked, So how many new people can really enter into that, and I'm in that boat too. So I hate to say 2-year wait. In fact, my goal is to get rid of any waiting lists and simply start saying, email me what you want to do. If we connect, I'm going to keep my schedule more open so that within 6 months I'm starting you.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet, because that's a decision I made about a year ago, and I'm still grinding my way through lists I created 4 years ago, because I'm not about to just delete all these people, because I've got too much respect to do that. So I'm going to work through those agreements, because I promise these people they're getting tattooed, and I'm going to get through that. But I'm whittling those lists down, and I'm basically being more careful about what jobs I take in. And hopefully in another couple of years, no more 2-year wait, 3-year wait. It's just, what do you want? Oh, this connects, you're in, So that's the long story, but the easy thing is email me. Email me what you're into and tell me what it's all about. And if it's connecting, then we'll get it going on.
Do you have
within a year?
Do you have one specific style that you're looking for, or are you just waiting for that spark that shows up? Like, are you trying to tattoo a certain tattoo these days? I know those tendencies change, from month to month, to year, or do you just wait for that spark to come through?
I'm definitely more that. I'm the spark to come through type of tattooer, only because I never really created a particular niche for myself. I'm not a neo-traditional tattooer. I'm a Japanese tattooer. I don't even know what to call it. I guess they used to call it new school, but I don't like that term, because that represents the first 10 years of my tattoo career, when everyone was doing supposedly new school, which quite honestly I look back on as a bunch of shit tattooing, which I was a part of. I'm not going to sit here and act innocent. I was right in there, man. But so new school is not, I just say I'm kind of an illustration-based tattooer. I do love doing Japanese motifs, but of course I've got my more modern twist that I throw on that stuff. And I'm looking for large format. I mean, that's a basic criteria. I want backs. I want sides and ribs, and I'm even hesitant on sleeves just because I've got about 50 of them on the books waiting. And sleeves are, I don't know where out the rest of the country, but down here in California, it's like sleeve, 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 sleeve. You know, and I love doing them, but everyone, you know, I want my portfolio to be diversified. And if I just did every sleeve that came along, I'd have a portfolio with 200 sleeves, you know. So right now I'm really focusing on, I want more back pieces, I want more panels, I want more torsos, you know. As far as themes and type of art, just the spark, like you said. Let's hear the ideas, and if it connects, then let's do it, you know.
So do you have someone that goes through all your emails for you, or do you actually have to look at all of those?
Well, I'm lying a little. I do have an apprentice that he weeds through the most simplest of emails, and basically it's just the people that it's an automatic, you know, it's the person that says, oh, my sister told me about you and I want you to do an ankle band for me. You know, there's certain things that's obviously, there ain't no way, it's not going to happen. So he grabs those and he shifts them off into people that work at Guru, and we try to get those people taken care of. So he gets rid of 20%, but I still, and I know my wife and people around me are like, you really got to get someone to do this because it absorbs a ton of my time. But man, yeah, I'm right there. I'm answering these emails personally, and I get a lot of good feedback from guys I tattoo that work with other big name tattooers, and that's one thing I hear. They love it. They're like, wow, you know, it's hard to get guys that are busy like you to give you this personal attention. I've gotten personal attention from you, Aaron, since the first email I sent you. And it makes me feel good to hear that because I love, like I said before, I love really caring for my clientele. I want them to feel special, and I want them to know I care about them. But there is a reality, too, that's been hitting me hard lately where I'm like, my God, can I really keep doing this? Like, I come out to my art room. I have 2 days a week I set aside for drawing. And it used to be actually a day and a half of it, I'd really be drawing. In the last year, I swear, I told my wife the other day, I go, I come out there, I have Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 full days. And lately, I'm getting half a day of drawing then because the rest of it's just emails and correspondence and phone calls. So, yes, I still do, but I'm very open to maybe shifting away a little bit.
I think sounds like you probably should get yourself an assistant.
Yeah. I want to create a system with an assistant or something that would just be still very personal, and they would end up, the ones that need to be with me would end up getting through to me eventually. But yeah, I need some help. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Well, hey, it's been really great talking with you. This has been one of the most positive interviews I've ever done. And you've been a wonderful guest with lots of great insight.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And if the one thing that people are feeling from me in my career and things like this is some kind of positive, uplifting message, then that makes me thrilled. That's more than I could ask for. So thank you for calling me up and letting me be on the show.
Yeah, man.
And happy for what you guys are doing over there. I appreciate it.
I'd like to talk to you again sometime. When maybe you got a new project, we'll bring it back and we can chat about it again.
I can't speak a lot about some of the future projects, but we do have a couple pretty significant projects coming up. When those are big and launched and going, I'll be in touch and we'll do one of these and tell the world about
Wonderful.
it.
Wonderful. I can't wait to hear more about it, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Aaron.
All right, Ben. Thank you, buddy.
Take it easy.
You too.
Well, that was Aaron Della Vedova. That guy is amazing. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. That guy really, truly means what he says. I can tell it. You heard me mention a little bit about Bob. We've got a DVD that TattooNOW just produced, which is going into production next week, called Method to My Madness. And we're going to show you a little trailer for that, and then we'll come back, talk a little bit about the sweepstakes, and I know you guys have been waiting for the sweepstakes winner. We will get to that as well. So, we'll be back in just a few minutes.
My name is Bob Tyrell. I started tattooing in 1997. I specialize in black and gray, mostly photorealism and portraits. People think I've been tattooing forever because I'm old. I think when I started, it was the perfect time for me. I got to learn from Tom Renshaw, doing the best portraits in the world. So I'm out here at Off the Map Tattoo in East Hampton, Massachusetts, to visit my friends, to tattoo, and also to film a DVD. I'm tattooing a friend of mine, Chris, drummer for the band Genitorturers, doing a portrait of Frankenstein. I'm a huge horror fan since I'm 5 years old, or as long as I can remember. So I love doing anything horror related. And as I'm tattooing, I'm going to be just talking my way through it and explaining what I'm doing as I'm doing it, how I approach a portrait, how I make the stencil, how I mix my inks, and just anything to do with technique I'll be talking about. There's no right or wrong way to tattoo. There's a lot of different techniques that people use, and but this is just the way I tattoo. I live in a black and white world. That's why I do what I do, I guess.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Brian.
We're from TattooNOW.
We're here to tell you about the TattooNOW Professional Tattoo Artist Sweepstakes and Contest. It's gonna be insane!
Insane!
We're giving away tons of prizes like a Waterloo Artist Series workstation loaded with quality supplies from every nook and cranny of the tattoo world, with rotary machines from NeoTat, Artisan Tattoo Cleanser and Aftercare, ink sets from Eternal Tattoo Supply, tickets for the Worldwide Tattoo Conference and the Paradise Artist Retreat, free webinars from TattooNOW TV and Off the Map Live, books and DVDs from Tattoo Education, armrest, lamp, medium travel case, art supply sets, and more from Kingpin Tattoo Supply. These prizes are so cheap, it's like we're giving them away!
We are giving them away, Brian.
We are giving them away. We're giving them away. Needles from Needle Jig, foot switches from Devil's Right Hand, True Tubes, Hustle Butter, magazines and subscriptions from Tattoo Artist Magazine, postcards and business cards from Lucky Design Media, book sets from Presto Art, Ergo Tubes from Pulse Tattoo Supply, coil machines and a Soba Custom from Workhorse Irons, an artist chair from Tat Soul, a day's tattoo plus travel from GuyAitchison.com, and a vacation getaway. If you're a professional tattoo artist, you need to sign up for the sweepstakes. Sponsored by Paradise Artist Retreat, TattooNOW, Off the Map Live, NeoTat, Eternal, Waterloo, Artisan, Kingpin, and Tattoo Education.
Starting in February and ending in July, we're going to be selecting artists at the end of each month on Off the Map Live.
Do you have people up in your kitchen? Do you like to tattoo people in a bathtub?
Have you seen horrible infections from your work? This contest is not for you. So Brian, how can we find out more information about this sweepstakes?
Go to TattooNOW.com/sweepstakes. Fill out the form for your chance to win. Professional tattoo artists only.
Only. Well, as you saw, that was a goofy little video that Brian and I made about our amazing professional artist dream sweepstakes, where we're giving away $30,000 worth of things. So without any further ado, we're going to go and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this month's winner. We randomly chose an artist from our vetted artist list that has been growing exponentially since we started the sweepstakes. The winner is Jeff Barnett. Jeff Barnett works at Lovesick Tattoos in California. Congratulations, Jeff. You have just won a fully loaded Waterloo workstation, tons and tons of prizes from NeoTat, Eternal, the Paradise Artist Retreat, TattooNOW, and Off the Map Live. Also, we're going to throw in some artisan products for you. I hope that you enjoy all of them. We'll be in touch soon to give you a full list. Now, after all that excitement, we're going to talk a little bit about webinars, because a lot of you folks out there don't know what a webinar is. So, Matt, our video engineer and also TattooNOW production manager, is going to come out and join me, and we're going to tell you a little bit about what a webinar is and what kind of webinars we have to offer. So, if you're a professional tattoo artist, listen up. We're going to tell you a little bit about what we've got. Matt O'Brien, come join me at the desk. Matt doesn't usually like to be on camera, but we're going to drag him out here anyway, because this was his idea. I'm just going to snuggle a little bit closer to Joe King. Joe King, if you're an artist out there and you would like to see your little itty bitty painting on our desk, send it our way. We would be happy to show it off, because we love art. Come on in here, brother.
Hey, Ben.
How are you?
Good. So, hey, thank you for watching. So, without further ado, I'd like to talk about webinars.
So Matt, what's a webinar?
A webinar is basically a live recording or a live event. Primarily, if you purchase a ticket to a live event, you'll be able to ask questions live in the chat room, and they can be answered very quickly by the artist. So either myself or Ben will be watching the chat room, and anything that you ask, we'll ask the artist it. And these can really help out, and it's just like going to a normal presentation at a convention or anything like that, except you're doing it at the comfort of your home.
And unlike a normal seminar where you might be in the back of the room or you might not have the best view, with our webinars, we get a camera up close to whatever the artist might be talking about. So if we're doing a webinar with Guy Aitchison and he's talking about his technique, we're going to be showing you a close-up shot of the needles going into the skin. So you'll actually be able to see right up close, even shots that you wouldn't normally be able to see at a live seminar.
Sure, yeah, man. And we can also zoom into special areas that you want to talk about. So if there's anything in the drawing concept area, we can actually zoom into that section and you can ask the artist what they were thinking with the layout. And one of the things that we want to talk about is the recordings. So if you guys have Netflix or you've watched YouTube, it's pretty much the same thing. You'll be able to just click play and watch it. If you have any questions or you have any errors, you'll be talking to me and I promise I will get you sorted out.
Some of our webinars are, 5 and 6 hours long. That's not, that's really not all that strange. So you're going to need a decent internet connection. You're going to need a computer that can handle it. But don't let any of that scare you. Just about anyone who's got a pretty decent internet connection can get these. We have webinars available from apprentice level. Anyone can take BJ Betts' lettering webinar, all the way up to professional tattoo artists that are looking to develop their careers further.
Yep, so one of the things that we've been trying to do with the sweepstakes form is ask you who you'd like to learn from. A number of the artists we actually have done recordings with, such as BJ Betts and Kelly Doty. Russ Abbott has also done one with us, and we're going to try and do a bunch in the future.
I've actually got 2 scheduled coming up.
Shit.
We've got Rember. If you guys know Rember, he is a black and gray.
I know.
Black and gray master, really. He's been doing amazing things with black and gray. He's been adding just hints of color and really making them pop. He does a lot of realistic portraits mixed with architectural elements. It's pretty amazing. So Rember had just agreed to do a webinar with us. And Tommy Helm from Television's Tattoo Nightmares.
I know that guy.
Yeah. So Tommy's going to come do a webinar and show you all the stuff that you don't get to see on the show. We're going to cover everything from the consult with the client to the best techniques of camouflaging a tattoo that a client might not want to the finished result. And we're going to show it in real time. It's not going to take 15 minutes to do this, a 12-hour tattoo. So you can find out more about our webinars at TattooNOW.com/webinars. All the live events and recorded events are there.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to email.
Hey Matt, thanks for joining me. Matt's going to get back behind the boards, and we're going to do a little wrap up of this show. Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
It was nice to see you. So that was a little bit about our webinars and webcasts, and a little bit about TattooNOW. TattooNOW is what is behind the show. TattooNOW makes websites and custom mobile apps for tattoo artists. If you weren't aware of that, TattooNOW really is what powers everything that we do. So Ian McGowan recently recorded a seminar with us, and that is also available. So I'm going to show you a little video about that. And we'll come back and wrap this show up, and we'll end the whole thing with Tattoo of the Day. So I'll see you on the other end of this Ian Robert McGowan video.
We're going to be talking a bit about a monochromatic, value-based approach to art and tattoos. We're talking about the value of value and what value does for us. Well, value does everything for our visual world. And as simple as a value structure as this is, you've got this sort of form shadow here and a cast shadow there and a little bit of varying values in the front and back. Well, that's how we know this is an egg sitting in what looks like a windowsill. That's how our brains see it. That's how we understand this. And this is pretty simple. You could probably just do a simple, mix of paint and get this thing going, and look what you've got. It looks real and it makes sense to us. So, you know, let's say somebody came in and they wanted a rose painting, they wanted a rose tattoo, whatever. They wanted a field of roses, just like this, somehow, you know, whatever. And obviously, we're looking at this piece, and other than, say, like the little bit of light on the leaves, the foliage there, this red looks really intense. Like that red, man, that must be the brightest, most interesting thing there. But when you put it down to just a strict black and gray situation, the red's actually pretty dark. You know, if you see that, if you can see the shift there, the red went very dark by comparison to what you thought it was. That's the actual value there. That's the actual value in the value structure. But you probably would have gauged it to be like, oh, really high on the scale because it looked really intense. Your eyes really loved it. I stole this picture too. This could have been taken at the Paradise Artist Retreat in Mexico. It looks like New Mexico. Here's sort of the same situation. We're looking at this red car, and it looks, to me, if I just look at it and I don't use my head at all, I say, man, this thing is the brightest. Maybe the wheels are brighter, but this red is super bright. It's super intense. It's probably brighter than that sand and all that nonsense. But if you knock it down to a straight value scale, it's pretty dark. You know, it's actually darker than, you know, even the mountains. If you look at it, you know, it's actually almost a bit darker. And so that can show you, you know, value can go like all sorts of different ways. But when you're really paying attention to what it is you're looking at and kind of trying to make an intelligent, aware decision, rather than saying, oh, that's just a vibrant color and it's probably high key, it's probably high value, whatever, make it a really good choice there. I'd like to say something. I may be biting Joshua Carlton here a bit, but it's a really relevant point. I think when he put out his book, he had talked about reds. You know, reds look great. They look bright, and they look amazing. More often than not, and this is just kind of a quick tip, any red in any composition anywhere is probably mid-value. Other than the really, really dark ones, red is almost always a mid-tone. Even, it doesn't matter how bright the thing is, it's probably a mid-tone.
Hi, I'm Guy Aitchison. If you're a professional tattoo artist or an apprentice of a professional, I'd like to invite you to be part of my online webinar that's coming up on April 8th and 9th. For almost 2 decades, I've been perfecting the Reinventing the Tattoo curriculum, which teaches some of the fundamentals of artistic design in a way that can be applied towards making your tattoo work stronger, more dynamic, and more unique. It's an educational program that's been attended by many artists who are now among the industry's leading tattooists and educators. So I'm psyched to offer this first installment of Reinventing the Tattoo in interactive webinar format. That means you can attend it online from anywhere in the world, but still participate in the critiques, exercises, and discussion. I'm offering a limit of 30 tickets so that everyone's work gets enough time on screen, where I not only critique it, but I also use Photoshop to demonstrate ways of improving it. It starts on April 8th, where I'll begin by going over the reinventing fundamentals: flow and fit, positive-negative relationships, contrast, priority and reserve, lines and edges, depth, and lighting effects. We follow that by doing an on-screen critique of each participant's work, applying the concepts that were demonstrated at the beginning of the day. At the end of the session, I'll be handing out exercises for everyone to work on that night. Then on April 9th, we'll go over everyone's exercises so that we can see how all the important fundamentals have been applied, and then follow up with a group of close-up video clips that demonstrate my latest understandings about technique. The Reinventing the Tattoo webinar is both immersive and interactive. Wherever you live in the world, you can be part of this concentrated learning experience. Tickets are available now at www.tattooeducation.com.
So that was just a small taste of some of the webinars we have. We have webinars from Ian, BJ, Jeff Gogwe, Kelly Doty, James Kern, Guy Aitchison. There are just Bob Tyrell, tons. So if you're a professional tattoo artist, check them out. Get one of these things and you know, step up your game. I'd like to say a big thank you to Paul Vander-Johnson from Triplesix for joining us. I'd like to thank Aaron Della Vedova for having such a positive interview. I said it earlier and I'll say it again. That was one of the most positive, inspiring interviews that we've ever done here on Off the Map Live. I hope you enjoyed it half as much as I did. A big thank you to our sponsors, especially Waterloo and Artisan. Without you guys, we wouldn't have this show. We really appreciate it. For all you guys out there that want to see what we've done in the past or want to keep up with us in the future, check out our YouTube channel and subscribe, comment on our videos. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you want to see and what you like, what you don't like. Next up, and to round out the show, we're going to show you a Tattoo of the Day. Tattoo of the Day is chosen from the uploads to TattooNOW. People can go see the tattoos and they can vote on them, and the ones with the most votes get Tattoo of the Day. Every 2 weeks we compile them and put them together here for you on Off the Map Live. I hope you enjoy this, and we will see you next time live from Hell City, Columbus with Guy Aitchison. Thank you for being with us, and I hope you join us next time. Take it easy.